This episode of the Auto Tech Show is sponsored by Tire Buddy from Anyline. Make every tire check accurate, consistent, and backed by data, no matter who does it. Hello and welcome everyone to this brand new episode of the Auto Tech Show, coming to you from Move London 2025. Today, we're back with an exciting show for you with one of the biggest names in automotive, Volvo Group. Today, we explore the quiet but critical rise of cybersecurity in the automotive industry. As vehicles become more connected and software-defined, protecting vehicle data and digital infrastructure is no longer just an IT concern. It's a product feature, especially for premium brands. We're joined by Tomasz, Product Cybersecurity Compliance Officer at Volvo Group, to discuss how cybersecurity is moving from compliance to competitive edge. We'll also examine how true progress in this space depends on collaboration across OEMs, suppliers, and regulators, and why working together, even between competitors, is essential to securing the automotive industry's future. So with that, Tomasz, welcome to the show. It's going to be a busy and exciting day. We're on a panel later this afternoon, actually, on the same topic, but thanks for your time first thing this morning.
Thank you, Mark, for the introduction. Thank you for having me. Yes.
It's going to be a fun talk.
Yes.
What are your expectations going to the show? I know you've sort of just getting settled in, but what are your expectations this afternoon?
Yeah, I like to feel the move. So it means that I like to see what is the perception about the mobility and what it's all about, and how they treat the cybersecurity topic and how far we are with the different modes of transport in the environment. Because, like as I said before, when we talked earlier, transport, it's trucks, it's commercial vehicles, it's cars, it's also mopeds, it's motorcycles, everything. So
it's a whole world, and we kind of depend on all of it for different reasons, especially in that commercial space. It really drives our lives. And as these things become more connected, cybersecurity is a topic. I think that it's great that we're bringing awareness to it. And to be completely honest, it was a topic I knew very little about. I was just scratching the surface on my understanding, and doing the dive for the panel in our talk today, it was really interesting to find out how little it's being discussed. So I was expecting to be opened up to journals and documents and everything, but it's very hard to find anything deep on it. Is there a particular reason why you think that's still the case?
It's still the knowledge about cybersecurity. It's first of all, a lot of people try to learn the regulations. Yeah. That's the one topic. And the second is to really learn deeply the automotive cybersecurity.
Right.
Because it's very narrow topic.
Yeah, I think it's very narrow, and to me, what cybersecurity is going to become is very much like when you say sustainability. It's a very umbrella topic, and there's so many silos underneath, and there's going to be specialties in each of them as it develops. Do you kind of see that similar thing happening?
Maybe there are some similarities, but for the environment, there is a global people perception about environment.
Yeah,
if you ask random person on the paveway, they will have a kind of glimpse of perceptions what it is.
They'll have an opinion.
How to secure environment.
Sure.
Right. But if you ask this person about product cybersecurity, it will be like, oh, what's that?
Yeah.
Moment.
Yeah, and they'll maybe be interested in learning a bit more because of how it impacts our life. So yeah, as I mentioned, I think I was excited to learn more about this. Typically, when I think of a vehicle or any type of transport, there's the speed and there's the statistics around that. There's the economy, there's the fuel saving, and even more recently with EVs, the range. And these are kind of the products that are talked about when it comes to transport. Cybersecurity is not part of that discussion yet. But what will it take for it to become part of that discussion? What is it going to take for these brands to put cybersecurity as features?
Yes, absolutely. And as I frame it before, I like to have cybersecurity on the board level, and also not only IT security, because of course 99% of the cybersecurity right now is IT system security, not the automotive or product cybersecurity. Right. So the problematic is like to reach the right level. and then also to get understanding on the operational level, and also on the understanding between the players on the market, suppliers, supply base, supply chain, also regulators, and also users and customers of the solutions.
So a lot of pieces have to come together.
Yes. We need to talk the same language.
Yeah.
If we are talking about the threats, about the vulnerabilities, so it should get through all value chain.
Yeah.
From manufacturing, even from design, up to end of life.
Do you see, as companies and as OEMs and as manufacturers start to put cybersecurity as a priority, do you see that affecting the overall design of vehicles and how they're kind of being put together?
Yes, it's affecting very much, because then you need to start with all the risk analysis before you start to design your architecture. So before it was hardware driven, like efficiency or performance. Now, first you need to put your risk. So what is the damage scenario? What is possible cost? Who could attack? What is your attack vectors? What is your attack surface? How vehicle is protected? Where is open? Where is closed? And then you design your vehicle.
Okay.
So it means that you design your software, put your hardware together, and apply the same techniques like we have for the normal IT security. You do the network segregation, you do the access control, you apply cybersecurity techniques to the vehicle.
Obviously, the vehicles that are going to be under more risk more quickly are the ones that are more connected, more services, more offerings. What is it going to take for these brands for cybersecurity to become part of that brand promise, to know that when you purchase X vehicle or you get into X vehicle, that your information is safe, your vehicle is safe? How far are we away from that being part of the public discussion?
I think safety is a very sensitive topic, because on the cybersecurity operation, we take seriously the worst case scenario.
Yes.
So that's why it's not going to the surface.
Yeah.
Because the worst case scenario we prepare with the risk level and then also mitigation level. And then nobody likes to talk about the possible accidents that could happen with the vehicle. So I think all the OEMs and all automotive, it's trying to solve all the problems and have a common understanding about to say, and maybe have a kind of perfectionist approach, the vehicle is safe. If they will be comfortable with that,
right?
We tested everything, we designed everything according, we closed all vulnerabilities, then we could say publicly it's totally safe.
Right.
But even Tesla is not doing that. Right. Even Volvo or Mercedes, they are not saying we did everything. So
as the discussion then becomes more on the surface, like we mentioned, it's being discussed here at the Move event. It's going to become part of a regular discussion with cars becoming more intelligent. As public knowledge starts to understand the risk associated with it, is that what it's going to take for brands to start openly discussing it in part of that sales cycle?
I think with kind of movement and also on this conference, it's interesting that at one place we could see how everything's matched together. Because when we discuss product cybersecurity, we are talking about the, let's say, impact on the road user. So is it the cyclist or it is the pedestrian or another car? So it is really important that software and software-defined vehicles and connected vehicles are taking into consideration all elements.
Yeah.
So I would like to see more do we have an algorithm or do we have, let's say, methods how all those vehicles are connected together?
Yeah, because ultimately that's what we're creating is this network on the road. Yes. And how that network is secured is a vital step that has to be taken.
And I think the regulation should not be selective, only for the automotive or only for motorcycles. It should cover all harmonized infrastructure, charging, traffic lights, Wi-Fi access to the vehicles in the city.
Yeah, it's really it's a can that is quite deep of a lot of variables.
Yes.
I'm glad you brought up compliance because it's an interesting topic, and I like to get people's opinions on this particular topic. We have compliance and regulation on one side, and on the other far side, we have innovation, we have creative thought, we have ideas. How do you find that balance works together? Because sometimes you need regulation to spark innovation, and sometimes innovation creates new compliance. Obviously, we're still at the forefront. You're with Volvo, you're very much leading the charge, and as a company that other people are looking up to on how you're going to manage this. How do you balance regulation and innovative solutions when it comes to cybersecurity?
I think everything comes with the requirements. And also, when it comes to the security, you could also be innovative when it comes to the security,
of course,
or cybersecurity of the vehicle. Mm-hmm. So you could invent the methods, how to design the network, and also be sure that you first comply with the regulation, but also your solution is modern.
Yeah.
So you could advance in your, let's say, technology curve, and be upfront.
Do you work closely then with regulatory bodies, or are you simply looking at what's been written, meeting those minimum, but then excelling beyond that? You don't just want to be at a minimum standard, or are you working closely with regulatory bodies to develop what should be the standard?
Yes, I think it is on the agenda, especially for Volvo Group, to be on the, let's say, European level with the regulations coming, and also what is important, we also part of this, let's say, normative part. So not only European regulation, but also, let's say, standards that will take us to let's say, design better products, like ISO, or there are, let's say, a special GRVA group in the European Parliament to tackle the technical problems.
And I think it's a really interesting how those like standards are set then, because they need to look to what you guys are doing as leaders, as main players in the market. They need to look at what you're doing in order to set those standards and those compliances, right?
Yes, I think here it's like you need to have educated people, first of all, and then they know how to stretch the regulation and how to stretch the standard, because like setting the high standards, you could kill the company, or you could kill the operations, or you could kill the information.
Which they don't want to do. Yeah. They don't want to kill part of the industry, but they need to set a certain level of safety, especially with a topic as sensitive as this.
Yes, exactly. So one, you raise the bar every time, like with the regulation, with the standards, you do that constantly. Mm-hmm. Then we have another side of story that is we are audited. So then auditors also do kind of constant development.
So it's a learning, living, breathing set of regulations.
Yes.
I think that's an interesting way, because do you find the government bodies then and the regulations are open to that living, breathing type of standardization, rather than just here's the letter of the law, here's the way it is, follow it? But it's more living than that.
I've seen everything, but I think the common approach is to understand both sides.
Yeah.
And also push, and also we as company and me as a compliance officer also to push what I know is the best.
Yes.
So that the increments are not too fast, to not jeopardize any, let's say, operational, let's say, performance, but feasible to be compliant and to be safe. So that's the goal.
Makes a lot of sense.
Digital tire inspection at your fingertips. Introducing Tire Buddy.
There's a term that I've seen you mention in the past, and I wanted to ask you about it for a bit of context, this concept of zero to hero. What's triggered that change, and how is it transforming your priorities at Volvo?
Yes, it's interesting because there is a big heritage or big legacy from Volvo Group regarding cybersecurity.
Okay.
That's something that we have from group technology and truck technology. They work with cybersecurity, access controls, and everything from many, many years.
Okay.
But now it's defined like cybersecurity. So it means that you need to, let's say, put resources and also put, let's say, cybersecurity into the operational space. So you need to create departments. You need to follow cybersecurity as company KPI. That's something that, let's say, we could define from zero to hero.
Yeah.
Of course, with some kind of brackets, right?
Yeah.
But it was usually you follow operational side of the company, like quality, performance,
Those standard metrics.
deliver on time.
Yeah.
But risk level or how fast you are catching up with the vulnerabilities, that's new.
That's new. And does it then have that added pressure so it doesn't affect those other elements? Because now there's a piece before the piece. We used to just focus on those other variables, but now you have this big risk and cybersecurity element that sort of, like you mentioned, has to be designed and built first. Does that pressure then come to you to make sure it doesn't affect the rest of that production?
Of course, and there is a lot of pressure because, as I said, it's not only design, it's also production, and then also we need to start to look how vehicles performing over the years, because at least commercial vehicles, they are running more than 10 years in the market, and then we need to define how far we cover cybersecurity. From life, like Windows, it's after 5 years you get a message. It will be not updated.
Yeah.
You need to switch to a new version.
And that's not practical with these expensive vehicles, long-term solution vehicles.
So I think from commercial vehicle perspective, it's like it's that hot topic, the next one, hot topic, because now we fix the design, we fix the vehicles running, but then we need to think about the long run.
Yeah.
And also secure resources and performance, because you need to patch the vehicles. You need to define, let's say, how fast you update your fleet.
True. Yeah.
And here I like to add another angle. Customers, they need to will to update the vehicles.
Okay.
As you know, like if you not push the button, update the vehicle, or
it doesn't happen.
You will opt out from visiting the service, the let's say original service. Then you opt out from the vulnerability patching, right?
Becomes more of a risk.
Yes. So that's why you mentioned on the beginning, we need to have a ecosystem. So if customers will not switch to the thinking like, I will update my car as my phone, then it will be vulnerable products on the road, and it will be not fault from any OEM.
Yeah.
It will be customers.
But then ultimately it comes back to you regardless. If they don't update, it still affects what goes on with you. If someone doesn't update their system, that's on them, but it's still then your infrastructure and your network that gets affected.
Yes, interesting question. Thank you for that. With the new software-defined vehicles, you could track if certain amount of fleet is updated or not updated. So that's the beauty of that you could force some updates. Of course, in the, let's say, safety framework, so you need to, let's say, secure safety condition of the car to get an update, right? But you could follow at least how the process is working.
And visibility and having that access to data is then essential. And I guess that's part of the learning curve and understanding from a customer point of view that it needs to be open, and it can't just be, no, I don't want this, I don't want to deal with it. They're getting these new vehicles. They have to be aware that the updates are more than just features. They're security set as well.
Exactly. And if we just jump to the future a bit, because we discussed also about the autonomous vehicles, we discussed about the software connected vehicles, and we are discussing about the vehicles that are let's say, with options that work with another vehicles on the grid, then we have to see the security as essential part of that equation.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It has to be a part of that equation, and it's one that needs to jump up the list and not just be a footnote. It needs to be a top concern. I want to shift a little bit and talk about the collaboration side. There has to be a lot of collaboration with other teams and going on at Volvo, but can we look at cross-brand or even cross-industry as inspiration when it comes to looking for collaborative efforts when we talk about automotive security? There's got to be elements from other industries that you're borrowing, or you want to learn from other parts of the industry or even competitors. Is those conversations happening?
Yes, I think there are levels of cooperations, of course.
Yeah.
I think there are plenty of good symposiums or conferences across Europe and also starting in the US. So there is a very good platform to just hear about what's going on in the research, in the operations, also with competitors. So you know your peers. And then there is some platforms regarding public commercial cooperation. So like cooperation with the PTAs or transport, let's say, solution providers, how to synchronize the vertical level. So like platform, city operations, how to synchronize that, but also horizontal platforms, think tanks or conferences that we discuss with other peers, competitors, and also similar disciplines like medical or robotics. That's disciplines that we could share together. And also regulations coming in Europe are tougher and tougher for medical, also for connectivity, for IT. You have a NIS2, Cyber Resilience Act. Europe likes to be more safe, so we need to comply. But also the new regulations regarding the vehicles. I don't know if you read the Euro 7 requirements.
Right.
It's including cybersecurity.
Which is good. Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah, anti-tampering of the data regarding emissions. Also for
lessons learned from past brands. Yeah.
Yeah. It's for legacy diesel vehicles and also electric vehicles. Yeah. So a lot of requirements to pass.
Do you find in that sense of collaborating with competitors, I find really interesting, because traditionally everyone was very competitive, keeping all their data very much protected, not wanting to share too much as things are developing. Today, how do you find those conversations? Are people more open to sharing information so that we progressively all learn together, or is it still, it's touch and go, what you get from other brands?
I think from my perspective, we feel like where we are. So during the open platforms or during the conferences, we share and I could say like we are building common language first of all.
Great.
So that's a big plus. There are thousands of suppliers, even plenty of OEMs, and now there is also academic world coming. So we need to know if we are talking about certain threats that we are talking the same language, because for one brand the threat could be, let's say, obvious because of the design and quality of the work, and for other it's totally on the other side.
So it's eye-opening to have those conversations still, and I guess developing that common language is a vital first step in being able to have those conversations.
Yes. And the second step, I think with the software-defined vehicles, there's not so many platforms coming.
Yeah, true.
Right? So then there will be closer and closer cooperation between the different OEMs. And I know that a lot of companies and a lot of groups launching the spin-off companies, taking care only about the software-defined vehicles, and cybersecurity is part of that.
Yeah, and it needs to be a large part of that. Where it was just the software side, now there's a whole other department, it seems like, within a new department. I want to talk about the sense of responsibility that you have with being part of such an iconic brand and a brand that has such a strong market share around the world. Smaller brands will often look to see what the leaders are doing and take influence from that. How does that affect the work that you do, having that sense of responsibility when it comes to such a new topic like cybersecurity?
I think it takes some time to realize that.
Yeah.
So when we do the work, and also sometimes people think like we approach the things too peculiar or like too detailed. Like we analyze every aspect, and we're known for that. Especially that let's say safety or quality it is the core principle.
Yeah, it has been for a long time. Yeah.
So sometimes we are overdoing that. And in the small size companies, it's not possible to overdo something. You have a strong budget constraints. You have limited number of
different
people.
Priorities.
Sometimes it's one person working with software and cybersecurity. So it's big stretch for the small companies. And having this structure and also be part of the group, it's also kind of relief. You have more space, and then you could invest your time for development. So that's something that is, let's say, relieving the pressure.
But then the sense of what you produce, knowing that others will take influence from it, is that something that's in your mind as you're developing things, or are you just solely focused on paving the way ahead and focusing on your goals?
I think bus business is very special.
Yeah.
Because we have, let's say, mix of the serial production and also smaller series. Mm-hmm. We also integrate not only platform but also, let's say, bodybuilding part, which is merging the worlds, like small manufacturing world with the serial production. So then it's a good occasion to learn about let's say business and also it's a fast track to understand the total value chain. With the big brand and also big volume, it's not possible by small team to let's say take care about complete value chain.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's an important thing to take away as well. And it's good to know that you're on top of that. So listen, this has been a fantastic chat. Really looking forward to our panel later today, but thanks for the talk this morning. And any final notes before we close off from you?
I think it's a great platform, and also thank you, Mark, for this great interview and podcast. And hopefully we could, let's say, repeat that again. Yes. And then we could mark up if cybersecurity is on the agendas or not.
That's how we'll know. That's how we'll know in the future. But again, thanks for today.
Thank you, Mark.
And for everyone watching and listening to this episode of the Auto Tech Show, thanks for being with us. Hopefully you've learned a little. I know I learned a lot diving into this topic. It's a whole new world. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. If you have any questions or concerns you want to bring up about this episode, head down to the comments below. The resources for myself, for Tomasz, what Volvo's doing as well down there. So check those out. But with that, we'll bring this episode to a close. Thanks all very much for listening. Have a great day wherever in the world you may be. Bye for now. Again, a big thank you to our sponsor for this episode, Tire Buddy from Anyline. Try Tire Buddy today. Head to anyline.com and get your free trial subscription.